Thursday at 4 o'clock, which means it's time for the most motivational segment in all of sports. It's also the time where we read some viewer mail. We get a ton of mail. Oh, my gosh.
Incredible.
I'm at the post office dragging a huge satchel like I'm Santa Claus. Before I read the letter.
Last week.
Huh?
Did the Santa Claus thing last week.
Just so happens. I have a huge sack of letters.
I like that.
He actually has toys in the satchel, not letters.
Yeah, that's what I told you last week.
Unless you asked for letters. Dear Santa, 500 letters. Dear Wilds, Ryan. Dear Wilds, love the show, thank you. Ryan and Brian and their friend, Harold, want to dress up as their favorite segment for Halloween. And now that Must Win is dead, do you have any idea for Bud List costumes?
Oh, no.
We get this a lot. Sincerely, Don and Doug. We get this. Oh, see.
How did I get pulled into this?
If you want to dress up,
How did I?
Wow,
Your
I
outfit
told
is
you,
unbelievable.
your body, my body on you is
no
with
sense.
the chaps.
Horrible intro has nothing to do with anything. I'm
That
sorry,
is
bro.
a perfect
Take it
outfit.
away.
We got to fix this graphic.
Okay.
All right, the Bud List
Next
at
week.
number 3. Surprisingly, he hadn't been on here in a while,
Oh.
maybe ever. Patrick Mahomes,
Wow.
the great Patrick Mahomes. Now look, this is a major motivation because that's what the Bud List is all about. And you know I believe in you, Patrick. In fact, it is written in stone, also known as SportsIllustrated.com, SI.com, that I was the first of everyone
It's true.
to say you are the best quarterback that we've ever seen. So you know I believe in you, Patrick. But here's the problem.
Makes things up. I don't know.
You haven't looked like it this season. Let's just keep it real. All right, let's keep it. I know it's not your fault. You got your players got butterfingers and your receivers and all that. But 11th in passer rating, 6th in touchdowns, 7th in yards per game, and 18th in completion percentage. This would kind of be like LeBron averaging like 22, 5, and 4 on 45% shooting. Right smack dab in the middle of his prime. And that's not you, Patrick. But tonight you break out because you've got Denver coming to town. It's in Kansas City?
Yes.
Or it's in Kansas City. Denver coming to town, and they're horrific. All right, so tonight you start your MVP bid, your march to that third MVP, and Denver defense is horrible. They gave up 70, so even if your receivers can't catch, you still should be able to throw for 303 or 4 touchdowns. Patrick, you know I believe in you, and this is motivation. All right, at number 2, Micah Parsons.
Oh.
Now, I like Micah. And I love your podcast, my man. Keep telling it like it is.
What?
Keep speaking from the heart.
What?
And saying everything you want to say. It's great for the podcast, all right? It might be clubhouse poison, but it's great for the podcast. You need to satisfy your listeners, my man. We need drama, so keep it coming, all right? So, Micah, I picked you to be in the preseason as Defensive Player of the Year. You're off to a great start, but, you're playing fine, but not quite up to Defensive Player of the Year standards, and certainly not coming off that 42 or 32-point shellacking. All right, but this game, Monday night, is perfect to get righted. Okay, because on paper, the Chargers give you everything. It's a road game, so nobody can squawk at that. But really, you'll have more fans than they do. All right, they're a quality opponent. Kinda. On paper, it looks quality, but the coach does some crazy things. Nick likes him, but the calls he makes are nuts. All right. And they do have a great quarterback. All right. So on paper, if you beat the Chargers, nobody will be able to write them off as the Jets, the Giants, and all that, the Patriots. So tonight, Micah, or Monday night, you guys get right. I'm motivating you, man. I believe in you. All right. At number 1.
Okay.
Matt Jones and Bill Belichick.
Oh,
I'm sorry about this. Now, look, I got to be honest with you guys. You are not making the playoffs.
No.
It's not going to be a good year.
Kid.
Under any circumstances, you're not making the playoffs. All right. No matter what you do this weekend, okay? But there is a difference in missing the playoffs and in losing your starting job and maybe your position as a starting quarterback in the NFL for the rest of your career. All right? Or there's a difference between missing the playoffs and having your good name besmirched. All right? And Mac Jones, as Wilds would say, you got to stop throwing it to the other team. All right? That's what I'm trying to motivate you. It's as simple as that. With Bill Belichick, now look, I have been one to say I give Tom Brady more credit than Bill Belichick for the dynasty, but I give Belichick his due. But I've heard some things this week that even would not leave my lips. All right, I've heard that Belichick's an average coach.
These are some bad takes.
No, but you've heard him like me. Average coach
takes.
Without Tom Brady.
Real bad.
I've heard below average coach without Tom Brady.
Turn the channel.
I also have heard that he could get fired or should get fired, which I don't even go that far. So Bill, look.
Believe in him?
If you don't win right away, if you don't win this year, you'll have to wear it for a while. All right, but eventually people will give you your props. Bill and Mac, I believe that you'll give it your best shot.
Man, brutal ending. Not a great Bud list, I'll be honest with you. Not great.
It's an honest Bud list.
I know,
I'm trying to motivate too.
That wasn't
last
motivational.
all of them are
at all.
motivational.
That
Go
was-
ahead, Coach.
Look, I love the Bud list.
Thank
It
you,
is
Coach.
such a
He always
refreshing-
loves it.
It is such a refreshing segment after some of the other segments that we have to. They're so slanted. And when I'm going to have the tough conversation with my boys, I'm just going to FaceTime with you and have you talk to them. Because it's such a nice mix of encouragement with honesty. But I am going to have to switch out the Dallas Cowboy that you've chosen and put Dak on the Bud list instead. And here's why. We're in year 3 of a 4-year deal. This is $126 million that you've gotten paid. We talk about all the time how he needs more receivers, he needs a better running game, he needs a better offensive line. All the different things that you need to be successful. You've got a great defense. Just ask anybody on the defense. They'll happily tell you, or you can listen to podcasts. They'll tell you as well. But the reality is you threw 3 picks last game after we said we were going to get away from that, which is the worst that it's been since 2019. And more importantly, Kellen Moore is not there because you probably didn't want him there. Wow. And that's the reality of it. If he had gone to Jerry Jones and said, I want Kellen Moore to be my offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore would be your offensive coordinator because ultimately Jerry has final say. So now Kellen's out there, they're 7th in pass yards. You're what, like 20, I think, second, 24, I forget the exact number. But it's a substantial difference. So less is not more for Dak, okay? You're going to have to figure it out here, and you're going to have to rise up to what you've been given and the responsibility they've entrusted in you. So
Yeah, I'm with you. Dak is a solid one. Dak's been on a lot, so I had to give him a respite. But yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a
Coach, you
definitely
just saved the Bud list. Good job.
Thank you.
We are adding Joe Burrow to the Bud list.
Okay.
So the Cincinnati Bengals
After
this
that,
week
you opened
host
that?
the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks who are rested. The Seahawks who, after playing poorly in week 1, have been excellent. The Seahawks who overcame multiple starting offensive linemen, missing multiple games, and still found a way to win. The Seahawks who I believe, outside of the pair of corners in Kansas City, have the best pair of corners in the entire NFL in 2 young players, so top 5 pick Weatherspoon and Reek Woolen. And those Seahawks are coming to Cincinnati against T. Higgins if he plays banged up, and then Jamar Chase, who they will be able to put an elite corner on and double team him. Off a game from Joe that I thought statistically, obviously, was unbelievable. But if you watched it, and I know you did, Brew, he still didn't look all the way right. He looked better, and the numbers looked like old Joe Burrow, but it was a lot of short passes and a lot of Jamar Chase doing work except for the one bomb. And here's why this week is so critical. If they lose this week, I would ask you to look at what they have after the bye. San Francisco, Buffalo, a frisky Texans team. Brew, your beloved Ravens, a Steelers team that defensively gets after everyone. The prince that was promised. And then at the end of the year, Steelers, Chiefs, and a Browns team that you simply cannot beat. If they fall to 2-4 with a loss on Sunday and they're only 2.5-point dogs, I think that hole is too big to climb out of, even in the muddled AFC North. And I think this is a very losable game against a rested and all of a sudden healthy Seahawks team.
They need it. There's no doubt about it. But I'm optimistic. I think he's getting better. As some of the doctors said, he should get healthier as he's playing on that calf. So, yeah, I think they'll be able to pull it off.
I'm going to the NBA. I'm going to add my friend, because any friend of Shingun is a friend of mine, Dillon Brooks. Nick, been doing the show for a while. You know the 3 things I dislike?
Yep.
Injustice, number 1. Number 2, mimes. Number 3, half measures. Dillon Brooks got ejected for hitting a guy below the belt, and it's not the first time. Last time we saw him in the playoffs, he delivered this shot to LeBron, and after the game he said, you know what? The media is making me a villain. The fans are making me a villain, even though he's on the record of introducing himself as, hi, my name's Dillon the Villain. So then we fast forward to FIBA, where he played great. Except this game in Slovenia, he gets thrown out. It's like, it's okay. Gets thrown out. Luka also got thrown out. And he's waiting for his teammates wearing what? High fives? Let's go. Nope, boxing gloves. He's ready to go. After the tournament, where he was named Defensive Player of the Tournament, it's just a persona. People love it. I've grown to love it myself. Well, fantastic. Looks like we're embracing the villain persona. Not so, because then we get to preseason. He plays 5 minutes and hits Daniel Tice, boom, right below the belt with that boxing glove that he left in the locker room. And after this game, he says, I don't know. Every time it happens to me, I get picked on, but I guess it's part of my reputation. Yeah, dude. Embrace the reputation. You led the league in techs. Is it a bad thing? I don't think so, because you got 4 years, $86 million. Be the villain. If you don't want to be the villain, say, you know what? Chillin' Dillon is my new name. Chillin' Dillon Brooks. I'm going to lay back. No, be Dillon the villain. If you hit a guy below the belt, say, you know what? Deserved it. Get out of my way. I'm here to play hard basketball. That's why Dillon. But Dillon, I believe in you.
Wow, that was good. I think he's a little hesitant to be the full villain.
No, he's not.
Because
He
after
keeps
LeBron,
punching
he
people
said,
in
I
the groin."
broke Bears, and it came back to haunt.
Yeah, just be the villain. It's great.
Wilds?
Yes?
Your guy. That's
Can this
your
be the
team.
end of our Dillon Brooks coverage for the year?
He loves
No,
Please,
I'll be all
for
over
the
it.
love of God.
Okay. Do you know
Please.
what? Okay, then more Pat Bev.
No, neither one.
Okay.
Neither
Two of
one.
my favorite guys. Coming up next is Kyrie being disrespected for his ranking.
What is this?
That's
I'll tell you.
disrespect.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Where's Nick's gut? Your gut.
Drew, I'm in
Doing
great
sit-ups,
shape.
dude. Yeah, these are real bodies.
Unbelievable.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.